I'm here with the Yamaha XT250, and I'm here to tell you why it could very well be the ultimate dual sport bike for new riders. Stay tuned. For this review, I'm first going to be talking about some basic specs. I'm not going to go too in-depth as there's lots of videos talking about specs already online. After that, I'm going to go into the off-road riding experience, the on-road riding experience, and then some final thoughts about who I think this bike is good for. The XT250 has an overwhelmingly underwhelming spec sheet with its 8.9 inches of front suspension travel and 7.1 at the rear. The 5-speed engine makes an earth-shattering 17 to 18 horsepower. And for brakes, it has front and rear discs, which is a welcome upgrade over the rear drums that used to always come on entry-level bikes like this. Nothing super groundbreaking yet. However, some specs that set the XT apart from the competition are its seat height and ground clearance. The seat height of 32.7 inches is incredibly low for an off-road oriented motorcycle, only comparable to the KLR 650S and CRF 300 LS, both low-seat editions of existing models. The XT has 11.2 inches of ground clearance, while the Kawasaki has around 8 and the Honda about 9.5 inches, making the little Yami much better over tough trails. The XT250 hits the scales at 291 pounds, not terrible for a dual sport, but certainly dense for a bike this small. The XT250 has the standard 18-21 wheel combo that is found on basically every dirt bike ever, and that, when combined with the low seat and high ground clearance, make this bike incredibly easy to ride over tougher off-road terrain. More on that later. Let's talk about the riding experience. As a 6'1" rider, I found the XT to be relatively cramped, although more so while standing than I was while sitting. I suspect most XT purchasers will be shorter than myself, so this won't be a major issue. Off-road, the suspension is extremely plush and soft over rough terrain, although faster or heavier riders will quickly find its limitations as it has a soft spring rate and limited rebound and damping control. The power is torquey and easy to use off-road, although don't expect a whole lot of excitement when you give it a fistful of gas. The engine almost never allows the tires to break traction, allowing the rider to focus on all of the other riding inputs. The clutch pull is incredibly soft, and the transmission mostly well spaced, although I did find myself wishing for a gear between first and second at times. Overall, the engine is incredibly approachable and perfect for newer riders. The XT250 is remarkably heavy for its size. I sometimes joke that Yamaha must have filled the frame with lead to make it this heavy. Despite its weight, because of its low seat height, it carries its weight remarkably well in motion, although smaller riders could have trouble wrestling that weight off-road. The previously mentioned low seat height and ground clearance combination is the real winner in the bush. The bike is low enough that most riders will be able to touch the ground whenever they need to, and has enough ground clearance that you aren't always bouncing off of rocks and getting hung up on other obstacles. These attributes, combined with the easy-to-use power, make this hands down the easiest bike to learn how to ride on tough terrain with. I've personally ridden with plenty of new riders on a variety of bikes, and I will tell you that new riders who are on XT250s or similar bikes like the old Honda XR200 are always able to ride tougher trails far sooner than those who show up on larger bikes, and they have a lot more fun doing it. This bike ensures that new riders will have a positive first off-road experience, and more experienced off-road riders will find the XT to be pure fun and should take riding one as an opportunity to work on the finer skills of off-road motorcycling. A wise man once told me if you want to ride fast, you need to ride slow first, and a bike like the XT is the perfect bike to learn and perfect bike control techniques on. If you have realistic expectations, you will find the XT to be a pile of fun in the dirt and a great learning opportunity for everyone. So it's a winner in the dirt. What about on the street? Well, the XT is a pleasure to ride around town for commuting and basic errands, and on slower back roads is heaps of fun. The highway, on the other hand, is a different story. The XT can go down the highway in much the same way that a snowmobile can be used on dirt. It's not very fast, it's not comfortable for the rider or the machine. The XT is very buzzy on the highway and isn't very happy cruising at even 100 kilometers an hour. Passing on the XT can best be described as an event that takes a very slow vehicle to be passed and a very long flat or downhill straight stretch to make it happen. Similarly, the XT250 has a 0 to 100 kilometer an hour time of, yeah, it can usually go 100 under optimal circumstances eventually.
Yes, the XT will go 100.
The bottom line is that if your riding requires you to ride on high-speed pavement sections often and for long periods of time, then the XT250 unfortunately may not be the right choice for you. The current generation XT250 came out in 2008, replacing the previous XT225. The 250 had a carburetor until 2013, when it was replaced with fuel injection. Very few other changes have taken place since then. For the record, the bike I rode was carbureted, and I've heard that the fuel-injected models are a bit quicker. Although I have no personal experience with them, it is possible that they are less of a dog out on the highway. All years of XT are known for their reliability, and very few owners are reporting issues. The styling, on the other hand, is very subjective. Some riders love the round headlight, others hate it. Personally, I think it looks just fine, and the seat on it is your typical off-road bike seat that is reminiscent of a 2x4. Another thing that's kind of interesting but not important on the XT250 is it's the only bike I think I've ever ridden with a 7/8 handlebar that does not come with a crossbar, at least for an off-road bike. Kind of interesting, maybe just for bike nerds like me. A brand new 2025 XT250 sells for $6,200 Canadian dollars, the exact same price as the Kawasaki KLX230 and $1,200 less than the Honda CRF 300L. From what I can gather, the XT is the only one of these three bikes actually built in Japan, so the price is a bargain for a brand new bike. Used XTs around these parts seem to hover around $3,500 and don't really depreciate much beyond that. Good news if you want to buy a used one, ride it for a bit, and then if you decide to move on, you can likely recuperate a lot, if not all, of your investment. So who's this bike for? This is the ultimate first dual sport. It's approachable, reasonably priced, easy to maintain, and surprisingly capable in the dirt. It is also a great bike for someone who wants to get into off-road riding and actually learn the fundamentals of riding so that they can enjoy riding a larger bike down the road. Instead, what most riders tend to do is they buy a big bike and suffer. Start with a small bike like the XT, you'll thank me one day. This bike would also be awesome for an in-town commuter with the occasional off-road excursion. Basically, any type of riding except high-speed highway riding. It's important to remember that we live in a world where we are constantly told that we need more power and that we need more technology and that the bike that we currently have certainly isn't enough. The Yamaha XT250 is a reminder that often less is more and that bikes don't have to be complicated or super advanced to be fun and to just get the job done. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about the Yamaha XT250. I have lots more great dual sport and adventure content on the way, so if you want to subscribe, I would be more than flattered.
Kobe 450 versus XT250. This is actually pretty good.